Welcome to another episode of the Deep Dive on Till Death Do Us Part. We're your hosts, Collin Thompson and Sophia McMullen. Today we're diving into Webster Cemetery.
Ah, yes, Webster Cemetery.
Yeah.
It's sometimes also called Webster Road Cemetery. It's located in Pomfret, Chautauqua County, New York. A really historic place, you know.
Definitely. Deeply tied to Pomfret's early history. The town was officially formed in 1808, so this goes way back.
Right. And our goal today, our deep dive, is really about exploring some of the stories, the lives held within that cemetery ground, trying to get a feel for it.
Mm-hmm. And our mission specifically is to try and uncover some insights about the people buried there and also, understand the cemetery's place within Pomfret's broader story, how it fits in.
It's quite something when you think about it. Over 1,600 memorials there
Wow, yeah.
represent those early settlers and also veterans. A real cross-section of early life there.
So where should we start? Maybe focus on someone specific.
Let's do that. A good place to begin might be with Varnish Fox.
Varnish Fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. He was a soldier in the American Revolutionary War, born back in 1762. And he's interred there in Webster Street Cemetery. His gravestone is quite clear. It says, Varnish Fox, born 1762, soldier of the Revolution. Pretty direct.
A soldier of the Revolution. And what's really interesting I found is that Varnish, well, he wasn't the only Fox buried there, was he?
No, that's right. He was the older brother of Vinaya Fox.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see that name spelled V-A-N-I-I-H too. But Vinaya is also buried in the same cemetery.
Which really suggests, it points to a strong family connection to that area, a shared history right there.
Exactly. It makes you pause, doesn't it? Just for a moment. Think about his life. A soldier in the Revolution, experiencing all that, and then ending up in this, well, what would become this quiet part of New York.
Yeah, what brought him there? What was life like after the war, settling in Pomfret? So many questions.
It really draws you in.
So if we widen the lens a bit, look at the bigger picture. Pomfret was formed in 1808, officially, but the cemetery, it seems, had burials even earlier than that, early 19th century.
That's what the evidence suggests, yeah. It indicates the ground was significant, a place for remembrance, even before the town was formally organized.
So the community roots were already forming.
Precisely. And Varnish Fox wasn't alone. As we said, over 1,600 people remembered there, many of them also early settlers, other veterans. The cemetery really acts like a physical record.
A repository of local history. Each stone is a life, a contribution.
Exactly. People who built that community.
So who were some of these other early figures? You mentioned Zatu Cushing earlier.
Right, Zatu Cushing. He arrived in 1805. He's generally considered the first permanent settler of what became Fredonia within Pomfret.
So he really set the stage.
He did. Laid the groundwork for the community that Webster Cemetery would serve. And later on, he was quite prominent. Became the first judge of Chautauqua County. President of the Agricultural Society, too.
Being the first settler? It says something about the area's potential, maybe, what people saw there.
I think so. And others followed him. Soon after Cushing, you had families like the Barretts, Benjamin Barrett, Seth Cole, he settled near Lake Erie, Hezekiah Turner, Samuel Geer.
A whole wave of early families.
Yeah, and you have to imagine their collective effort transforming that probably very wild frontier land into the beginnings of a town.
Must have been incredibly challenging, the resilience needed.
Absolutely. And then you have the village of Fredonia itself, incorporated in 1829. It grew into this cultural and economic center for the area.
Right, with places like the Fredonia Opera House, the White Inn, landmarks that kind of anchor its history.
And it hosted important groups, too, like the WCTU, the Women's Christian Temperance Union, and Grange No. 1.
So a really vibrant community developing, all connected back to those laid to rest in Webster Cemetery.
It paints quite a picture, doesn't it?
It really does. So if you listening are intrigued by these stories, what are the next steps? How can someone find out more?
Well, practically speaking, the Pomfret Cemetery sexton is the one who oversees the records and the maintenance for Webster Street Cemetery.
Okay, so it's still actively managed.
Yes, its preservation is ongoing, which is great. So reaching out to the sexton would be a good starting point for detailed info. Local historical societies are usually fantastic resources, too.
And the Pomfret Town Archives, presumably?
Definitely worth checking the town archives as well. Lots of potential there.
What about online resources? Is there anything easily accessible?
There is. Find a Grave has an entry for Webster Street Cemetery. They note it's also called Webster Road Cemetery. The cemetery ID is 66664, if you're searching.
Okay.
And it lists 1,620 memorials currently, which is pretty close to the number we mentioned.
And does it have photos?
It does. It says 72% are photographed, which is quite high, and about 26% have GPS coordinates. There are currently 4 photos visible on the main page, added by users Mark Peoples and Stephen Vincent.
So that gives people a starting point, a visual connection maybe.
Exactly. A way to begin exploring from anywhere.
So when we pull this all together then, Webster Cemetery is this really tangible link, isn't it, to Pomfret's earliest days?
Absolutely. It holds the remains of people like Varnish Fox, the Revolutionary Soldier, but also countless other pioneers, people who literally shaped that region.
The cemetery just stands there, quietly, as a testament to their lives, their legacies, and how the community grew.
Mm-hmm. Which leads to a final thought, perhaps, for you to ponder.
Okay.
With over 1,600 memorials, think about all the stories still waiting there, maybe not fully known. How can exploring local records help us understand more about those who came before us, the ones who built the foundations of the places we live now?
What can these final resting places teach us, really?
Yeah.
About community, about history, about ourselves?
It's something to reflect on, certainly.
If you like what you heard today and would like to showcase your business as an official sponsor of our show, email our producer at tilldeathdouspart@gmail.com.